I'm Luke Beard.
I'm Chris Green.
I'm Riley Gunter.
And I'm Nash Rainey.
And we are the
Backups.
All right, let's kick into college football as we have done pretty much every week since it started. Yeah. Oregon dominates Colorado. Colorado did not look very good this week. It felt like they couldn't get anything started. They're definitely missing Travis Hunter. Oregon 42-6 is not a great game for two ranked teams. Nash, I know you have a lot to say about it. I can see it in your face.
Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously, I thought Colorado was going to lose. Not by this much. I think it was a game dominated basically by both Oregon's offensive and defensive lines. They both played very well, which I think really helped. And it's a rebuilding year for Colorado. You know, it's going to be a while since they could contend with some big teams. But, I mean, credit to Oregon. They really played a complete game. I mean, fantastic play from QB Bo Nix. I mean, he's improved a lot under this offense. He's a lot more focused. He's having fun. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a dark horse candidate for the Heisman. Because that's my opinion.
You gotta cite your source who said that one.
Your opinion, man. All right.
But no, so I feel like every coach will say it, but the game is won up front. Yeah. College football is a game that is won in the front line. It's that offensive line, D-line. Whoever
won in the trenches pretty much.
Yep. Yeah. Whoever dominates the line is going to win the football game. And Oregon just absolutely dominated them. Colorado couldn't touch Bo Nix, who, as you have said, has improved since we first saw him at Auburn. You know, I keep seeing this thing all over Instagram. People are like, he's been in college football with, that he played Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert's been in the league for 4 years. Bo Nix was a freshman when they played. It's not like, I get he's in his 5th year. That's really not that crazy anymore. You see that all the time.
Yeah.
But Bo Nix has consistently gotten better as he's played. He's, 22, 23. He's really not that old. It's not like he's playing at 26, 27 in college football.
Stetson Bennett or something.
No, he's a 23-year-old, and you see that everywhere, like grad assistants and everything. But he looks really good this season. So I'm super happy to see what he's doing. I'm excited to see how he continues playing. So you have a lot of big games coming up in the Pac-12. And then Utah, speaking of Pac-12, beats UCLA. They didn't give that showing we expected from them.
No.
But I believe they're still without their quarterback, and it's kind of hard to beat a team that's – UCLA is a very good team.
Yeah.
They put up 7, but this team is really capable of doing a lot, and Utah has a great defense. We saw them kind of stump Florida, who then, has dominated Tennessee in the SEC. And you always hear about SEC defense, but Utah's a great Pac-12 defense. And, a lot of people don't really notice that. A lot of people talk about, Pac-12 is offense only, and then you see Utah, and that's why they've consistently been at the top of the Pac-12.
Yeah, I mean, this is credit to Utah, beating a ranked opponent like that. Obviously a good win. You need the wins like that, especially coming down the stretch. I mean, the first play from scrimmage was a pick 6 for Utah, so I really thought it was going to go one way, but just kind of a quiet game, really. Nothing super crazy going on in this one.
Credit UCLA's defense, too.
Yeah.
They let up 7 points.
Yeah.
I mean, that pick 6 is not on them. Yeah. It's just, it's 7-7 without a pick 6.
Yeah.
And that game could have gone anywhere in overtime because, it didn't look like anyone was moving the ball. But let's move to Alabama Ole Miss. 24-10 win for Bama, but it felt a lot closer than 24-10 for at least a good portion of the game. Kind of towards the end, they pulled away. But, in the third quarter, they were down. So it's not like Alabama's the Alabama we're used to.
Yeah.
It continuously feels like they've struggled against teams, like Ole Miss. They struggled against USF, and they lost to Texas. So they're starting to get their mojo back, though. You beat a ranked team in Ole Miss, a good ranked team.
Yeah.
You expect it out of Alabama, though.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of game. It was pretty close throughout, and I think it was really towards the end where we saw a bit more of the Bama we're used to, some explosive plays and just better offense. But I'm still obviously still Ole Miss is a pretty highly ranked team. They played pretty well. I don't know what to think about this Bama team. They continue to be confusing.
Yeah, because it's like 1 week they look like it's old Bama again, and another week they struggle and they look like they just it's the end of an era for them basically. Then
Jalen Milroe is still a very good quarterback, though. He has a couple iffy decisions, but overall he's really good. I'm not sure why they didn't start him against USF.
That's why I feel more confident about Bama now that they have their quarterback pretty much set in stone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, another SEC matchup, LSU Arkansas. LSU, walk-off field goal, but this felt like a game that they were in charge for a little bit, and they kind of let Arkansas sneak back into it. So it's kind of like LSU. Their team, it's so like, what are they going to do this week?
Yeah.
Because it's a very good program. They're a good team. They have a lot of great athletes, but it's like they're never all on the same page.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels always playing fantastic, but like Malik Neighbors had a fantastic week last week, and he had a good week. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still very good, but he didn't put up the numbers like last week, and it feels like he's the guy on that team who's going to be your playmaker, who's going to be your big time guy.
Yeah.
But LSU still feels like they're a dominant program, and Arkansas is not a bad team. KJ Jefferson's a fantastic quarterback.
Yeah, no, this is, I will say, I think it was, from an outside perspective, not knowing too much about these teams, it did seem like a bit of a trap game. LSU, obviously, being one of the bigger contenders for the SEC. You think about an Arkansas team that's not on that level. You think, they've seen teams like this every game, like every season. They can handle this. But, Arkansas gave them a game, and it didn't turn out the way they, probably hoped for. But I think it speaks to both teams. It speaks to both teams.
Yeah. And then Washington State, Oregon State. That was Oregon State's first loss, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
So Oregon State's look great. They look very good this game. This is more of the Pac-12 people have, they talk about where it's like, oh, there's no defense being played. It's a high-scoring game, but still a really good game. It's fun to watch. I think I'm really high on Washington State this year. I think they are a really sneaky team that could, I could see them beating Washington. I could see them, sneaking up in the Pac-12 and potentially winning it. I don't think they'll win it, but I think they are a really big dark horse candidate to win the Pac-12.
In that game Saturday, it was the Pac-2 championship as well.
Yeah, only 2 teams left in the Pac-12 after this season. But just, you see how these programs play now, and you're like, why has no one picked them up?
Yeah.
These are, I have heard they want to stay and want to rebuild, but if that is less and less likely to happen every week, I'd expect people to come bidding at them.
Yeah.
Somebody definitely probably.
I could see them as Big 12 teams, or even though I get that's a really far range of teams. But everyone's doing it now. You have ACC going all the way out to California.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked for Big 12 to go from I guess Florida to Oregon. They have UCF up to Oregon State. That is a wide span, or up to Washington State. That's the whole country. But most of it's, in that southern area of the country. So a lot of games are closer down there, and then they're bringing people up. But, Colorado's coming down, and you still have these other Pac-12 teams that aren't that close to, UCF. So I'm just surprised no one has, at least, you haven't heard more about them getting bid on.
Yeah.
'Cause I could see them making a lot of moves. I think they are 2 really good programs in all athletics. Really, Oregon State is one of the best baseball programs of all time. And Washington State, they're still on the come up, but a fantastic program.
Yeah, no, it's confusing to me. These are 2 very good Power 5 programs, not just outside of football as well, like you said, the baseball team. There's no reason why they should be in a conference by themselves.
No. Right.
I think they absolutely have that ability to go to some conference across the country just because that's where the money is, and I'm still kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I feel badly about it. They really didn't. None of these teams or athletes really deserve this. So it's just an unfortunate situation kind of going on aside of part of this game.
Yeah. Ohio State beats Notre Dame, last-second touchdown. You hear what Ryan Day said to Lou Holtz. Where's Lou Holtz? Come on, man. I get what you're saying. Lou Holtz is, talking down. He was a Notre Dame coach, though. You're going to hype up the team you've coached for and, you're known for coaching for. But I get where Ryan Day is coming from. He's tired of the disrespect that Ohio State's been facing this season, at least, because they haven't looked at, the dominant team that they have been previously. And Notre Dame letting up, a 3rd and 19?
Yeah.
With under a minute left, game on the line. What are you doing there? That is the one play of the game. You get to stop there, you are set. Obviously, they're going to go for it on 4th. They have to. But if you get to stop on 3rd, the momentum's completely gone from them. They have to call a crazy play on 4th down.
Right.
And you just let them get to the half-yard line on 3rd and 19 from the 21. You can't do that. That's just not a play you can let up. And Notre Dame lost themselves the game right there.
Yeah.
And then, you have 10 guys on the field at the end of the game.
10 guys on the field.
Last 2 plays. And Marcus Freeman, he had no timeouts. And he was trying to sub an extra D lineman on. He said it in the press conference. And obviously, you can't face that penalty.
Yeah.
But still, it's remarkable the way the ending of that game went for Notre Dame, because there's no scoring. It was a very slow-moving game. This is Big Ten football to me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of low-scoring games with really great defenses. So, I
I think it's a really odd year for Ohio State because Kyle McCord, of course, he's a good quarterback. He's good enough to start Ohio State, but he's not a breakout quarterback like you hear from Ohio State, like J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones eventually, and then C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields. He's just not at that level yet, which is why I'm not completely sold on Ohio State, but I mean, they keep winning.
Yeah, for me, before the season, I was real sold on Ohio State because of Marvin Harrison Jr., of course, and the defense and just a great offense all around. But after this game, it kind of showed me that they're not there yet. They're not really ready to compete this year. Just give them a couple more seasons.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't confident on the quarterback coming into the season.
Right.
They didn't know who they were going to start before the first game. They just kind of feel like they grabbed straws. Whoever got the longer one got the start. Yep. So it's just, and McCord's a good quarterback, but you have the best receiver in the game, and obviously he got hurt, but he came back in the game.
Yeah. He came back
You just expect more, explosive plays when you have him on your team, because people are talking about how he's Randy Moss coming into this draft, and his floor is T. Higgins. That's an incredible, that's really high regards from scouts and everything. But I don't know, it's just a little disappointing to see. Penn State destroyed Iowa. It was not close. Iowa was a team that I thought they're sneaky in the Big Ten, and people talk down on their offense all the time, but they just didn't look great today. Or not today, but this weekend.
Yeah.
And their defense is supposed to be, that premier defense, but Penn State they kind of had their way with them. They dominated.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously Iowa going into this game, I wasn't expecting them to do anything crazy. Combine that, they have a very strong defense, but their offense really isn't that. And I think Penn State is one of those teams where they're good enough where they will beat a very good defense.
Yeah.
And when you have no scoring to help with that, this is the kind of result you're going to get. This is really just something I was expecting this at some point. I think Iowa, especially over the last few years, they always look solid, but they play someone big, and you kind of see a lot of those cracks. So this is not as surprising a result at all.
Washington continues their domination in the Pac-12. To me, they're the best team in the Pac-12. They're the most complete team. Cal scored 32 on them, but when you score 59, you're bound to let up some points.
Yeah.
I feel like them and Oregon are the 2 best defenses, but I feel like Washington's offense is just it overpowers everyone. Well, them, Oregon, and Utah, excuse me.
Yeah.
But, Washington's offense just feels so powerful. Michael Penix Jr. is the best quarterback in college football.
3 for 19 for 25, 304 yards. I mean, it's pretty much consistently over 200 games.
He's, to me, the Heisman. He's the top spot right now. It can switch. It switches on a dime, it feels like, at this point in the season. But if he keeps playing the way he is, he will go down as one of the best quarterback seasons in college football history.
Yeah, no, he's the kind of quarterback that is so good, he's lifting up the rest of that program. I mean, I think we saw a little bit last year with Washington where they're not really as highly ranked in the Pac-12, but he's such an explosive playmaker, and the way he can just throw, he makes it look easy. I watch him do that, and I think I can do that, even though I can't, not even close. But, that is the kind of playmaker that I'm excited to see, a month or two down the line when he's playing in some big games. I agree with you. He is one of, if not the best quarterback in college football.
USC defeats Arizona State. Really close game, though. It felt like they feel like they keep having close games until they finally pull away at the end. But I'm not really worried about them. I think they'll be fine. I think they're a good team, and they're a type of team that plays to their competition.
I was just about to say that. Yeah,
they play at the level. Yeah.
Competition.
And, Lincoln Riley is one of the best coaches in football. He'll get them together. I wouldn't worry if I was a USC fan.
Yeah.
And then I'll let Nash take this one away because I don't know much about this Wyoming Cowboys team, but I know you're pretty much their super fan, their biggest fan who didn't go there. I guess that's you.
I am absolutely the biggest Cowboy fan on the East Coast, bigger than Josh Allen, might I add. This is, 17-14 win over App State. App State is a very strong program, in my opinion, one of the best in the group of 5. And, it's just been the season. This is the kind of start that Wyoming really needed and wanted. Like, they are 3-1, and their only loss is to Texas. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a very strong team, and they weren't as highly regarded. At least in the preseason, they weren't really seen as a top 2 in the Mountain West. And they've been playing out of their minds and winning some big games. And
you mentioned that Texas game. They put up a fight in that Texas game for about 3.5 quarters. They looked great against Texas. They beat Texas Tech early. Wyoming, I could see end up being ranked, even with that one loss to Texas, because I think Texas is going to make the playoffs as a 2-3 seed probably. So I could see Wyoming ending up, slipping up into that 23, 22 area in the rankings. So they're a great team. I think they play with confidence, they play smart, and they want to win.
They want to win.
There's a lot of passion on that team.
Yeah.
So, we'll move to Clemson FSU.
That game hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt, man.
Clemson looked like the better team. I feel like we really don't have to say much about it. Clemson looked like a better team. They outgained another team they lost to.
I wouldn't even say we looked like the better team. We were the better team all day.
It's hard to lose like that when you see FSU get a scoop and score because a missed blocking assignment.
Yeah.
And that switches momentum, obviously. A new kicker who looked fantastic the entire game goes up with about minute 40 left.
When we need him the most. He
going for a chip shot, 29-yard field goal. Feels like I was confident in him. I was like, you know what? We've got this. We're going to win this game. And then he misses it. And it barely missed it. I thought it went in. Everyone thought it went in.
Everybody thought it went in.
And then you see the ref and you're like, oh no,
I'm like, oh.
He did miss it. But Clemson looked like the better team. And then, overtime did not look like the better team. It looked like two new teams came out there. Keon Coleman, to me, is, top 3-4 playmaking guy in college football. Top 3-4 receivers, what I should have said. But huge playmaker for FSU. Jordan Travis is a playmaker. His name just slipped my mind. The D lineman.
Jared Verse?
Yes, thank you. Jared Verse is he's one of the best defensive players in football right now. So FSU ended up being the better team. That over time they kind of showed that they were ready for it. And just a bad way to end the game.
I will say it was a key thing was Nate Wiggins went down late fourth quarter, so we didn't play overtime, and that would have been his guy to guard, and I think he locked them up all game pretty much.
He had him unlocked.
I barely saw the ball thrown to Nate Wiggins' side of the field. So.
And luckily the injury for Wiggins, I've heard. I'm not positive. I don't want to spread misinformation here, but I've heard it's not terrible.
Yeah.
He'll likely, keep playing.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think it's day to day is what I heard.
Okay.
So
we can hope.
I think this is just a very interesting era for Clemson football because we're not in a rebuild stage, but at the same time we are. I keep saying we're like in the Cole Stout days, although Cade Klubnik is a way better quarterback.
It feels more like the Taj Boyd days. It feels like this is a really consistently good team that
they just can't go to the next
can't
step.
completely finish it. That team was always ranked around that 9 area. Consistently, Clemson was number 9 when Taj Boyd was there. And that's how it feels right now. It's, we'll stay at that, obviously we're unranked right now, but the way we played, we should be a ranked
This
team.
is just a team where I feel like when we go to the goal line, first and goal, I shouldn't be worried that we might fumble the ball. And I've never felt this way about a Clemson team before at the goal line.
This
sucks.
It's a very strange. We've had a very strange past 8 games. This goes back. South Carolina, we lost to them last year. We had 2 fumbles on punt returns, and then there's Tennessee in the Orange Bowl where we gained nearly 500 yards and we lose 31-14. And then there's Duke where we're basically the best team outside the 10-yard line, but we have these key fumbles. We look good in every game. But there's always some crazy mistake or just some miscue that kills it for us. And
that's always at the worst time of the game.
It's always at the worst time. This weekend, we had the ball. We were driving. On
the 30-yard line. And, K couldn't have done anything in that situation.
Yeah, no,
he got lit up,
Didn't see him coming, but
and
it's,
he was going to fumble
if
there.
we
He was
came
about to go
away
in
from that
scramble.
drive with any points, that game would have been ours.
Yeah.
And even though we didn't, even though we gave up 7 and there was that huge swing,
It still should have, missing
we
a kick.
still had the opportunity to win. So it's like, it's just frustrating to see every Saturday that we can absolutely beat some of these opponents and then we just don't.
Yeah.
But I will say, this was the best I felt about this Clemson team this season. Cade Klubnik, he looked great Saturday. I mean, of course, there's going to be a few slips. And then our defense, it's still the real deal. Xavier Thomas probably had his best game. If he didn't get held every single play by the Florida State O-line, he would have had so many sacks.
Any predictions for Syracuse? What are we expecting the score to be?
I don't.
I'm just praying for a win.
I just
That's
need
all
to
we
win.
close.
That's all I need.
Syracuse is a team I'm never confident against. I think
could
Garrett
be-
Schrader's
We
a
always
star.
struggle. We always struggle against Syracuse. Too.
Yeah,
We
they're always a
Especially
threat.
at Syracuse as well.
I
We
just-
always struggle against.
They're a good team though. I mean,
Just need to win.
don't get me wrong. They're undefeated right now. Garrett Schrader's a great quarterback. That's a scary team to go into Syracuse and play. Then that's a long drive, long flight. That's just it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I do hope the run game, so looking at the depth charts, this is probably the smallest D-line we will face all the rest of the season. So hopefully Will Shipley and Maffa can
They're
get in
small,
there.
but they're strong.
Yeah,
They have a strong line.
I want to overlook.
I know they're not big, but whew,
I want to overlook them at all.
I've seen them move some people around. They're a scary team. All right, let's move to the NFL. Some of these games probably we can go over pretty quickly.
Yeah.
49ers decimate the Giants. Any takeaways?
49ers look strong.
They're-
This
what
Giants
was
team,
They're probably the top contender in the NFC.
Giants team is not what it was last year.
I just love the video of Daniel Jones staring down the 49ers defense.
Yeah,
There.
the Seahawks, beat the Panthers by 10. The Panthers looked good in that first half, and then it just kind of it fell apart for them. I still think they're a good team. I think they have a really bright future. They have one of the best young defenses in football to me,
I mean,
and they have a solid, young offense.
yeah.
I think Bryce Young will hit his stride at some point here. Obviously, he didn't play last week because Andy Dalton didn't look bad.
He looked solid in some of those throws, but I mean, this is trademark Panthers football. It doesn't matter the owner, coach, or quarterback. It's just like it's disappointing, and there's always that one part of the game where you're thinking, oh, if we score this touchdown, we could actually win this, but they never score the touchdown. It's always a 3rd and out, and then especially our defense, they make some great plays. They get a clutch stop. A minute and a half later, the same team has the ball again because we went 3rd and out. It's just like it's frustrating, but it's nothing unexpected. Obviously, young team, just really, it's going to take a while for the Panthers to start
It's a
winning
rebuild.
games.
They're in a rebuilding phase.
Yeah, we've been in a rebuilding phase since 2018, so this ain't new.
The Colts with an upset victory over the Ravens in overtime. I thought Gardner Minshew looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
He did step out of the back of the end zone. He pulled a Dan Orlovsky. But, they still came out with the win. It didn't matter in the long run. I didn't think Lamar looked great. He looked fine. He'll bounce back.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Lamar. I still think he's a top 5 quarterback in football. But the Colts are a fighting team.
Yeah.
They don't have Jonathan Taylor, and they're still fighting. So I think we'll see a lot out of them. AFC South is looking better than I expected.
And to add on, you got to kind of feel bad for the Ravens. Like every year, you think they're about to compete, and then half of the starting lineup just ends.
Yeah, they have been facing injuries, so
Can't stay healthy.
it's not a huge takeaway for the Ravens just because it's like you're missing half your defense every game now.
I mean, last year the
Offense too. Yeah.
Yep.
last year the mascot got injured.
Yeah.
I didn't, like, how does that even happen? Like they just it doesn't matter.
Feels like they're plagued.
Yeah, like they're cursed. That's
Yeah.
the only
They
explanation.
really are.
The Browns have continued to look really good. They dominate the Titans. It's that simple. They killed them. And I feel bad for this Titans organization because I think they do have a really solid team. They can't decide what to do with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Tannehill's bad by any means, but I think it might be time to try out Will Levis just to see what he can do. His arm is huge.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
Patriots with the win over the Jets, it felt like after Aaron Rodgers went down, everything,
Yeah. Just Jets being the Jets.
They have to it's a whole new game plan. You don't have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. You game plan for it the entire season or the entire offseason. Now you're in the season, first 4 plays of the game, he's out. So now you have to completely change your game plan to fit to Zach Wilson. It's not going to It's not going to work in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll have to formulate.
Yeah.
So, Bills decimate the Commanders.
No,
Not much other to say about it. Yeah.
Very good team against the Commanders. I mean,
Commanders have looked decent in some games, though. I'll say they have fought.
in some games, but this is. I think this is.
I don't think they're a horrible team. Lions beat the Falcons. Falcons didn't look great. I mean, they went to Detroit, and they had 2 big ones in the first 2 weeks, and it felt like they didn't play with the same intensity that they played with, and they let up a wide open touchdown to the rookie tight end whose name I can't remember now. But if you're doing that, you're not going to win a football game. It's just. Packers come back against the Saints. Weren't they down 17-0 at one
It was
point?
17. I'm gonna be honest.
And then
I'm be honest.
if Derek Carr doesn't go out, I think it's a different game.
I'm gonna be honest. I turned that game off at halftime when it was 17-0. I was like, and then shout out to Aiden, my roommate. He was looking at it in the living room. I heard they scored a touchdown, so I turned the game back on. We completed the comeback. Jordan Love a dog. Detroit, we coming for y'all Thursday, man. Y'all finna be 2-2, man.
Texans dominate the Jags. Did not see this coming.
Not at all.
CJ Stroud is the real deal, though. I mean, he's a beast. He looks like right now the best rookie quarterback. Him and Anthony Richardson are right there with each other. They both look fantastic though, and the Jaguars just don't look great. I will say I did not watch the Chargers Vikings games. I know Kirk Cousins had another great game, and they lost again.
Vikings are the best 0-3 team in football.
He threw that pick at the end.
Yeah.
That was a little goofy.
Yeah. Cardinals beat the Cowboys. Cam was a shock to me. I know Riley was really upset about that. I thought I heard tears from him.
Now I gotta kind of have to embrace the cowboy joke, but I mean, Dak Prescott, what were you doing?
As soon as Riley became a Cowboys fan, it feels like they lost their intensity.
Yeah, they really.
I think there's something with him.
There's an image I've seen going around Twitter, and it's just Dak Prescott throwing it to where no wide receiver is. I have your jersey. I want to throw it away now after seeing that image.
You should have been through it away. You're a 49ers fan.
That is true. Great point,
Throw
Chris.
that away.
49ers, man.
I mean, it was a surprising win from. I think the main thing was, Trayvon Diggs being out really hurt this team. I mean, Stephon Gilmore, a very, very good corner in his
But he's
prime,
old now. He old.
He really can't hang.
He is starting on the team, but he's not
still
starting against
good.
wide receiver ones like he did this week. Josh Dobbs looked great, though.
No, he looked very good.
I've been super high on Josh Dobbs since he got in the league. I was high on him when he was at Tennessee. And I'm a big fan of Josh Dobbs, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with this team. I feel like he could propel them to something we didn't expect coming into the season.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. The Chiefs dominate the Bears with Taylor Swift in the crowd.
Yeah.
Don't want to get too into that because everyone else got into it all week. So, I mean.
All I'm going to say is that was, people were talking about that more than the game.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, the Broncos got lucky. The Broncos got lucky. This was the week they lost 70-20. That's all I'll say. We'll get into that soon. Steelers beat the Raiders 23-18.
Some questionable clock management decisions. I mean, kicking a field goal when you needed 8.
Yeah,
that and the decision making by Jimmy G, man. And all those interceptions that he threw, I was just questioning, why would you throw that?
Yep. The Eagles dominate the Bucs.
Yeah.
25-11. I feel like it was much further away than the score.
Yeah.
They keep running that QB sneak and it works every play. Saw Jason Kelsey talking about it, and he said a Scottish guy came into the facility because they were talking about the play, and I think it was like a Scottish rugby player.
Yeah.
And he goes at the Scottish guy, it's like, mass moves mass, and and it does, mass moves mass, and that Eagles line, when you have that many guys coming at you, you have the entire Eagles offense just pushing at you, you're not going to stop them.
Yeah.
You have 11 dudes, and you have about 7 of them in that one, like a triangle sort of shape. They're going to go through you. You have, their guards are huge.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey's a big dude. Jalen Hurts isn't small. I mean, he's really powerful, and then you can put guys behind him and just shove them over you. He's going to get it.
I think it's just the fact that people are complaining about that QB sneak play so much, and the fact that DeAndre Swift has looked phenomenal.
He went off, man.
It speaks to his O-line. This is the best O-line in football.
Yeah, everyone's talking about that Kelsey and Swift, connection. The only one I'm thinking about is that Eagles Kelsey and Swift. Jason Kelsey and then DeAndre Swift running down your throat every time.
And the scary part about this Eagles team is that Jalen Hurts not even playing his best football yet.
No. And they look
And
great.
it's still 3-0.
Yeah. Bengals beat Rams 19-16. I thought it was back and forth kind of game. I wasn't really sure how it would end. I feel like that Tutu Atwell call that got taken back is kind of shaky because it didn't really look like he went out, but I don't know. He could have hit a blade of grass out there. But, Bengals look good. They get their first win. T. Higgins kind of struggled, but he'll bounce back. I'm not worried about it. This Bengals team will be fine. I think they'll be okay. Then Dolphins, Broncos. We don't have to get into this much, but this is a historic performance. They had a chance to kick that last field goal and set an NFL high scoring record, and they decided not to kick it. They kneeled it out. 70-20 is ridiculous.
This is the kind of game that people will see happen in college football at week 0 and be like, this is why I only watch the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, how is a professional organization letting 70 points
be scored?
This was Oregon, Portland State in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this was. There's no other way to put it.
And it's bad when the coach in the crowd and random people in the crowd pick plays out. Like,
he was not in the crowd. His lookalike was that his twin was out there. Jeez. That picture's so funny.
It could have been the lookalike in the game.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have changed much.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to overtime. Chris, you start us off.
All right, so this weekend we got big fight in boxing. We got Canelo making his return, going against Jermell Charlo, undisputed versus undisputed. It's a big fight this weekend. Probably whoever wins this might be pound for pound number 1. Go watch if you got time this Saturday. That's all I got to say about it.
And mine is we got the Europa Cup and Champions League starting up now. Me and Chris's teams, Brighton and Liverpool, were both in the Europa League. Obviously, Liverpool was successful. Brighton lost to AEK Athens. But no, exciting in soccer.
Yeah, continuing on that soccer point, I have some family visiting the UK, and we're big Burnley fans for a lot of reasons. But
bottom of the table.
Burnley with a 3-0 victory in the third round of the Carabao Cup against Salford City. Just a good win, and hopefully they can make a run in the tournament. Probably won't, but
it probably
it's always
won't,
great to
but,
see.
Rare Burnley win.
And then, Ronald Acuna has been, the best player in baseball this season. And he's one of the best baseball players just pretty much since he's come into the game. He's been one of the best. So he is the first player to ever get 40 home runs and 60 steals in a season, which is ridiculous to think about. And he's the 5th player ever to get 40-40. And, I think he is by far the MVP. That could be my bias with the Braves. But I just don't think it's close. I mean, he has looked fantastic all season. I know y'all aren't huge baseball guys, but I'm sure everyone has heard of Ronald Acuna. He's the guy in Atlanta. He wasn't playing when they won the World Series due to injury. But, if he played that series would have been different, obviously. And I feel like he could help lead the Braves, to another World Series this season. Nano rating out of 10?
I'm going to be honest, this one was a little subpar from what I've seen. Only going to give this nanner 5 out of 10.
All right.
We'll see y'all next time.
I think that's all we have. Thank y'all for watching. We will see y'all next week.